overrated beat.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pick Six Podcast. It's your boy Moose. I got my guy Ty, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm smooth, man. We had a crazy, wild weekend, a wild football weekend, man. I was about to say wild card. Week 1 in the NFL's almost in the books. We got a Monday night game tonight. But, man, we're going to jump right into it. We're not even going to waste no time. What was some of your biggest takeaways from week 1 so far yesterday in the NFL?
I feel like there was a lot of takeaways, but it's week 1, so you got to take everything with a grain of salt. So I understand, but I'm gonna just talk about the elephant in the room: the Detroit Lions.
I knew we was gonna start here. Let's do it.
Is the window closed for the Lions? Because yesterday looked like it. Because Jordan Love bodied them in one half, and the game was already over. Offense couldn't do anything. They're still putting the ball in Jared Goff's hands, which is never a good thing. And I don't get it. They have so many pieces, so many weapons. The defense looked a little better than the offense yesterday. And the defense didn't even look good.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like when you get blown out by a divisional opponent like that, although Green Bay did need this win more than Detroit, because Detroit has beaten them in Green Bay the last 2 times, and that rarely happens. But I don't know. To me, the Lions, it was just terrible to watch, honestly. They couldn't do anything that we've seen them do right, and like I said, I know losing Ben Johnson was going to hurt, but that looked like it took the heart and soul out the offense.
Absolutely. So it's funny you asked the question, is the window closed? 'Cause I remember we asked this question at the end of their season during the playoffs when they lost the divisional to the Commanders. Not have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I said yes, considering Ben Johnson leaving. And another name that we don't talk about enough, I feel like we talk about Ben so much, but Aaron Glenn was I feel like Aaron Glenn was more of a loss than Ben Johnson, in my opinion. And that's because he actually showed what he can do with very limited amount of pieces on defensive end with all those injuries. And we're going to talk about them soon too, but the Jets look really good yesterday. But I thought the window was potentially closed due to the coordinators being gone and who they will be replaced with. Now, I'm not going to overreact too much because it is week 1, but it is some things I did not like from Detroit on the offensive end. Definitely Jahmyr Gibbs getting 9 carries, not enough. I don't want Jared Goff throwing the ball 39 times. That he dropped back that much times, that's going to cause that Packers off defensive line to get more pressure. And whenever Micah was on the field, they got significantly much more pressure in the pocket and then when he was off the field. And for him to only play 29 snaps and be that effective, hats off to the Green Bay Packers. They was riled up. Plus, it's a divisional rival. In the way that Michael was able to dominate Penei Sewell, one of the best tackles in the NFL. I'm not surprised at them losing, but I am kind of surprised in the fashion that they did. Now, do I expect the Lions to look like this all year? No. I think they'll be able to bounce back. It's gonna be tough because I think they got Baltimore next, and they might start this year off 0-2 because I don't think Baltimore's going to lose back to back games to start the season. But they do got some things to clean up. Definitely, I think they should try to keep Goff around 25 to 32, maybe 30 snaps when it comes to passing the ball. Try to get more in that run game, and that way they can control the clock, keeps their defense fresh, and I think that'll be the best route. I think they need to be even more of a run heavy centric team than they were last season. So that's my biggest takeaway with the Lions. Green Bay looked really good defensively, really really good, and I think adding Micah is going to allow the back end like McKinney and the crew to be a little bit more daredevilish, I would say, because now with that front four getting pressure, you're speeding up the quarterback like you did with Goff yesterday. Now you can get even more picks than you did last year. So I'm excited to see what this defense is going to do. Jordan Love looked really good. The offense was hitting on all cylinders. I would like to see them, run the ball a little bit more. I know Josh got 19 carries, but yeah, I think if you keep Jordan around that 22 to 27 attempts range, keep him clean in the pocket like you did yesterday, I think the Packers can definitely be a huge team that can make it a deep postseason run for the NFC. We're gonna move right along with the next game. One of the games that stood out to me, we got to touch base on this. The Dolphins and the Colts. What was your thoughts on the Dolphins? Because I believe the Dolphins is going for that number one seed. Like they're trying to go get Drew Aller. We thought it would have been Cade, but the way Clemson's been playing, which we're gonna talk about that, Cade might not be going number one either. So
I am not surprised. I sat here and I told you, what did I have the Dolphins at? What, 3-14, 4 and
yeah,
13?
I'm actually gonna pull up the list as we continue the conversation. Let's see. Here it is. But yeah, man, what you think about Daniel Jones? He looked good yesterday.
That's how I knew the Dolphins really suck. Because Daniel Jones looked like Peyton Manning out there.
He was looking like what Anthony Richardson was supposed to look like. He was running the ball, throwing the ball. He did
And
no wrong.
to be honest, I think Anthony Richardson could have got in the game and did the same thing.
I agree.
Because that was just overall bad football from the whole team. Offense, defense, and you just have to, I feel like they have to hit the red button. They need to trade Tyreek in a couple weeks. Or
Please
even,
send him back to Kansas City.
They need I would dangle Tua. See if you could get some type of offer. But yeah, they just have to blow it up. I'm telling you, we're Mike McDaniels
I
is
give
gonna
him
get.
2 more weeks.
I don't even give him. Well, I give him a little more than 2 more weeks because I do feel like they can get a win or two, but I expect probably like week 9, they're probably gonna be like 2-6 or whatever, 2-7 if they don't have a bye, and I think that's when they just fire him. But I told you, I'm not surprised. It's just something after last season that I knew that the Dolphins was not going to be good this season because there was no urgency. There's like no. It feels like no one wants to be there, and just no one wants to play. And
I
Tua
think
can't even do anything.
I
So
would say I believe they have given up on Mike McDaniels. They've given up on the organization. They just need a reset, like to your point. And looking at this record, I can't believe most of us had the Dolphins at 8 to 9 wins. I think that was generous. 5-12 seems a lot more doable and favorable.
I feel like 5-12 is generous after yesterday.
And the Raiders probably will be a lot better than what we have them here as well. Um, yeah, the Dolphins are a mess. The only thing that can make them look any good is the Saints, and at least the Saints didn't look that bad compared to what they did yesterday. So got to blow that team up, man. As far as the Colts, I mean, I always feel like the Colts is just a quarterback away from being a real contender in that division. They got the pieces. You got Pippen Jr., who I think is a really good, solid number one receiver. You got Josh Downs. Is it okay? I always mix up the brothers.
Yeah, Josh Downs.
They got Josh Downs. Tyler Warren looked really good, but again, this is
He
against the
look
Dolphins.
amazing.
It is against the Dolphins, and then of course you got Jonathan Taylor. Your O line's pretty solid. It's getting long in the tooth, but it's serviceable, and the defense got some pieces on the defensive end. So you got pieces to at least win a division and get a playoff game at home. And I think you're just a quarterback away. Do I expect Daniel Jones to play like this all year? Hell no. Because if Daniel Jones is going to play like this, he might be an All Pro, and I just don't see that. And then if that's the case, then Anthony Richardson is really not getting back into that lineup. So shout out to the Colts, but yeah, the Dolphins. I think it's more about the Dolphins than it is the Colts, to say the least. But was there another game you wanted to touch base on during the week? I know we got to talk about the obvious game from last night, of course, but any other games you like to talk about?
I mean, one of the best games was probably Tampa and Atlanta.
Yes,
I thought Michael Penix looked amazing.
I'm not gonna lie. He did look good against Tampa. And I said in our group chat, man, I could watch these two teams play every day, every weekend. They always give us some high octane offenses and some elite play on defense. Antoine Winfield made some crucial plays down the stretch.
Yeah, but something about that, I don't know, something about that Tampa Bay defense, it's not, it just wasn't, it's not good as it was.
They're getting a little older.
And I keep seeing it. Last year, I thought that defense was pretty mid, probably low tier, low key. And I feel like they're probably going to be on the same path this season. But they got the best receiving trio once Chris Godwin comes back. So you can never count out Tampa Bay, but I thought both teams just looked good. Yeah, I was just very surprised with Michael Penix. I didn't think he was gonna have a game like that.
I will say this: Chris Godwin come back, he might be the receiver 3. Mike Evans might be receiver 2 by midseason. The way Ibuka looked, he's ready to be that receiver 1. He's going to be the heir to Mike when Mike hangs it up, and he looked phenomenal in that game. Bijan didn't really run the ball well or much, and that's kind of one of the things that concerns me with the Falcons. Is Penix looked good? I don't want him throwing 42 times. I think with the weapons you have on the run game as well, he might not have to throw that much. But he's a young guy, so he can handle it. But Bijan 12 carries, Algier 10 carries. Like I want to see Bijan get up to that 15, 20 carry range. But he did lead the team in receiving yards. I mean, albeit being that big 50-yard touchdown play. But 6 catches for 100 yards is really good. Kyle Pitts was second with 7 for 59 yards. But my concern again with the Falcons is health because Drake London obviously got banged up and he did not return. And that's going to concern me for this offense moving forward. The defense looked solid, but to your point, man, I wasn't expecting Penn to look this good. I expected him to look solid, but not. He looked real composed out there. Knowing when to run, some of the play calling at the end for the Falcons I wasn't too fond of. Like that first thing, I think it was first, second and goal when you had the stretch play, you have Bijan run outside like that play. That was just a bad play call. But all in all, man, Baker Mayfield showed why he is a top 10 quarterback. Because you go down the field and get that huge touchdown play, being able to work the clock the way he did, under control, and threw a perfect ball to Ibuka in the end zone, man. You couldn't ask for nothing better. Because the safety played really good defense on that pass. It was just the ball placement was perfect.
Yeah, the ball placement, it lined up exactly with his hands. So there was not much the defender could do. But then again, Atlanta lost because the kicker couldn't kick that field goal realistically.
Yeah,
And if you look at the previous play, I felt like I forget what receiver was it. I think it was Hodges. He should have put his hands out. The,
absolutely.
I'm like, at first I just thought it was an overthrown ball. Then I look back at the replay and I'm like, he definitely could have put his hands out. And that probably would have gave them the win. But I don't know. I expect the Falcons to be good, better than the team I picked to win the South NFC South because
Oh yeah, we gonna talk
yeah,
about them.
yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. I don't I don't know. I
It's
don't
week
know.
one though. It's week one.
Yeah, but the Jags,
The Jags. I told you. No, I
the Jag
told
don't
you.
no 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 no. I'm not surprised that the Jags won. Okay. But dude, the Jags, if it wasn't for that delay, the Jags was putting belt to ass.
Even though I have them going 7-10, I told you the Jags are going to be can easily be my dark horse in that division. No, I had the Titans as a dark horse, but I said the Jags being at 7-10 is my floor. I can easily see them winning that division because of all the pieces. Travis Etienne starting to look like his old self finally, and if he can keep that up, that's going to be huge for the running game. Brian Thomas Jr. look like he hasn't lost a step since his rookie season ended. Trevor looked really good. The defense looked like they was hitting on cylinders, albeit it's Carolina. And Travis was okay for the most part. I mean, for the first game, I didn't expect to be wowed by anything from him. So I expect him to get better as he gets more reps in. But yeah, Carolina did not look good at all. At all. I mean, Bryce made some good throws. It was some drop passes. T Mac looked serviceable. Like there's some promise there, but they could be a year away, in my opinion.
I don't know. It seems like every year saying the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, man. But I tell you, one team that needs to start thinking about that quarterback position, and that is the Browns. They lose to the Cincinnati Bengals 16-17, and Joe Flacco 31 for 45, 290 yards, interception and two interceptions and a touchdown. Joe Burrow, I don't know what it is, but ever since he's been in the league, he always has struggles with Cleveland. He was 14 for 23, 113 yards with one touchdown. Jamar Chase didn't do much either in the afternoon, 2 for 26 yards. T. Higgins was 3 for 33, and they sneak out a win against Cleveland. Do you think it might be time to call Dylan Gabriel to the forefront or even Shador? And if so, what week do you expect them to fully go into this quarterback competition? Because if I'm being honest, playing Joe Flacco ain't gonna do nothing for you. You know what you're gonna get from him. You might as well just play Shador Dylan and see what you got out of one of these guys and how you can build on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was necessarily Joe Flacco's fault that they lost yesterday. Um, because to me, I feel like Jerry Judy just not being Jerry Judy yesterday kind of ruined the Browns. Because if you watch the game, they were pretty much running the offense through Dylan Sampson.
Mm-hmm.
He's running it, he's catching it, and I'm just saying here like, so if we're gonna run the offense through Dylan Sampson, you might as well just go all out, start your rookie quarterback. Because to me, that just sounds like you got no game plan. You're not feeding the wide receiver one. You're not really feeding your other wide receivers. I mean, although like their receiving core is not the best, um, minus Njoku, but I don't know. I think yes, it might be worth it to do the quarterback change earlier in the season. Because if you're going to go like 14, 15 weeks straight with just Joe Flacco, then you give Dylan Gabriel a try, you're just going to be back in the same position next year. Um, and if you end up with a top pick, who's to say Dylan Gabriel or Shador even stays on that team?
That's a very valid
So,
point.
I mean, they have a lot of questions, but they they could have got the win yesterday because the Bengals were pretty much doing everything to give them the win, and they just couldn't capitalize on it.
It's
Um,
it's sad how each year it's the same thing where they cannot start off on a good start, and the offensive line cannot protect Joe Burrow at all.
yeah, they can't. I mean, Miles Garrett. If Miles Garrett played Cincy like 16 times in a year, he would be the all time leader in sacks. Because I don't know if it's just Miles Garrett, but I feel like the offensive line's not good for the Bengals at all. But when they're facing Miles Garrett could walk away with 6 sacks and a half if he's not being doubled. So I don't know.
Yeah, man. But if I had to take a guess, they'll probably pull Dylan Gabriel into the fold probably week 6 or 8. And if he's looking good, you're definitely not going to see Shador. I don't think we're going to see Shador at all this season, if I'm being 100% honest. But this might be a blessing in disguise. So moving right along, we're gonna really talk about just one more game before we get into the main games that we had yesterday. The other game I would like to rail in about, of course, will be the Broncos and the Titans. Broncos get the dub 20-12. Cam Ward was 12 for 28, 112 yards. Bo Nix was 25 for 40 with 176 yards, 2 interceptions, a lost fumble, and a touchdown pass. And they squeaked by with the win. What was your thoughts on this game between the Titans and the Broncos?
This just showed me how bad the Titans are. That's why I told you I can't have them as my sleeper or whatever you said because like it just doesn't make sense. The Calvin Ridley dropped like 4, 5 passes,
Oh, don't get me
and you
started
don't
on
you
that.
don't need that from your wide receiver one. Um, then pretty much the Cam Ward just pretty much he just has to use all of this as as practice pretty much because he's not going to get far with this offense. um and the Broncos pretty much, well, I should say Bo Nix pretty much try to do everything to help the Titans win and they still couldn't win. You're not going to get 2 picks off a quarterback and a fumble loss every game, you know. So if a defense could give you those three and you still don't win the game, call it an early season. Um, because they outside of that one big play I think they had, the Titans did not do anything at all yesterday.
Man, I don't even know where to start because I agree with you. The Titans did not help at their case at all in my case of being a dark horse, especially considering how bad Bo Nix was. Like Bo Nix was asking them to win this game. He was awful. He has some bright spots throughout the game. Don't get me wrong, but for majority of the game, him and Sean Payton was like D minus F grades. Bo Nix probably had the worst EPA of quarterbacks this weekend, not counting tonight's game. And I don't know, he just reverted back to early Bo Nix of last season. Like the interception he threw in the first quarter, like rolling to his left, that was just stupid. I'm just watching, like, what are you doing? Just throw that ball away. Then holding the ball too long, getting sacked, and that became a fumble. It was just a lot of bonehead plays from Bo Nix, and the defense was saving them, and a little bit of the Titans offense. But I think that once to get some more reps, and you could tell most of these people did not play in preseason. They're not on the same page because it showed in some of these games. Some of these players were just not in sync, doing stupid stuff. I believe Denver will be much better. The defense was really, really good. Probably one of the best defenses of the weekend, besides probably the Colts, considering they played in Miami. That defense is going to be something to deal with, man. They got hitters everywhere. They got good coverages and the linebackers and DBs. They can get pressure with 4. They're going to be a tough out. And with the Chiefs already started 0-1, and then the Chargers is where they're at. So is the Raiders. Actually, the Chiefs is the only non-win team in the AFC West going into week 2. Now that I think about it, they're gonna be tough to deal with, man. But I want to give them a huge shout out to the defense and the Broncos for still being able to push through and get that W. Now, let's get into the main games. We're gonna start off with the return. Oh, go ahead.
Although Bo Nix did throw those turnovers, still look better than a quarterback in New England, I'll tell you that.
Oh, you think so? I didn't get to catch that. That was one of the games I was trying to watch, and my TV provider, man. I would not say
if
the stream I
NFL
use,
was
but
one half, Drake May would be the greatest quarterback of all time. But it's the same thing. So I'm sorry for you Patriots fans, you 10-7 win record people, but that's a 5-win team right there.
you think
Maybe
you think it's a
6. Maybe
5-1?
6. Nah, they could sweep the Dolphins. So maybe 6.
I don't know, man. I think they could probably win
Because
8 to 10.
there was no reason why they shouldn't have won that game yesterday.
Yeah, the Raiders did not look good at all. Outside of
Raiders
Brock
looked
Bowers, and
terrible.
Bowers hurt his knee.
Yeah, Brock Bowers hurt his knee, and the Raiders went to go win the game. So how do you let a team who just lost their best receiver still go down the field and win the game? Ridiculous.
Yeah, I wish I got to catch that game, but the streaming site that I used was not allowing me to be great. But I did see some of the highlights. Genty really didn't have much of a good game. Bowers had a great game till the knee injury. And it seemed like New England just struggled to get points on the board in the second half. And I know Gonzalez did not play, so that's why I still think they could potentially be a 8 to 10 win team because of Gonzalez. But Drake May is definitely going to have to be much better if this team is going to be much serious. And from the looks of it, it seems like the Raiders will be that last team in the AFC West. But like I said, it's only week 1, so got to have a little cause to pause there. But they definitely look like probably the weakest team in the AFC West. And the Chiefs obviously probably be third given how they played. But it's still the Chiefs. I'm still going to give them their respect. Here we go. We got our first comment. Shout out to Peso. We need Gonzalez back now. Yeah, and we need Drake May, from what I'm hearing, to tighten up in that second half.
Christian Gonzalez doesn't play wide receiver, so that's the problem.
New guy we got from Detroit is getting burnt. Oh, you mean Davis? Are you referring to Davis?
Yeah, Carlton Davis.
He's from Detroit. I thought he was in
He played
Tampa.
for Detroit.
Oh.
He played for both.
Okay. Oh, at least, well, if he's getting burnt, because like I said, this is the one in the few games I did not get to catch, like a full game. If he's getting burnt like that, then I guess Madden is consistent, boy. I tell you. I got my line back on the Pats, and he be getting me tight where he be getting turned up. But nonetheless, man, I think Genty will be a lot better. I think once everyone gets to one accord, the offense on both teams for the Raiders and the Pats will be a little better. But I still think they can at least get 8 wins, maybe 9, and we can go from there. Pacers said the receivers were an issue, yes, but Drake also missed a lot of easy looks, for sure. The next game, the return game, Jets, Steelers. I'm gonna let you take it away because Aaron Glenn got these boys playing for real, man. And
I'm gonna say this. This was actually the best game. Um,
for sure.
Yesterday before the Sunday night game, obviously,
Yeah.
but the back and forth, honestly, I believe it was Xavier Gibson, right?
Yep.
If he doesn't fumble that ball, Jets win by a blowout. They were up 13 to begin with already.
I agree. The Jets should have won this convincingly. And then Garrett Wilson getting lit up the way he did at the end of the game by Ramsey.
Not his fault because that's just great timing.
Oh, for sure.
And you know football. That's just a great play by defensive player of the year because Jalen Ramsey's that guy. Um, the problem with the last play, and it's kind of ironic because Justin Fields should have ran it. You know, everyone talks about how they want him to throw it, but realistically, if he ran that, they would have picked up the first, and they just needed at least one more completion to get in that field goal range. Um, but I think Justin Fields looked like a whole new person.
Absolutely. And especially in
Is
the run game.
the well the run game would always be good when you have nice running backs. This is by far the best running backs he's been with, honestly, because Braden Allen and Brees Hall are pretty much the same.
Yeah, I like Allen a little bit more, but yeah, they are pretty much the
Well,
same type of runner.
it doesn't matter like who you run with. You feel me? If the protection's there, they're gonna give you those yards. That's why you see Aaron Glenn working the offense like that. Um, Easily early candidate for head coach of the year because I feel like if he brings the Jets to the playoffs, you deserve head coach of the
Yeah.
year.
And I will say that defense is looking a little better, even though they gave up the amount of points they did. But
Well, that's what I'm telling you. So the defense, they the Steelers got a couple flags. Um, then Aaron Rodgers went down the field, scored. All right, they kick it off. Homeboy fumbles. Next play, defense back on the field. Just one play, Aaron Rodgers threw a touchdown. When that happens, you can tell the defense is tired. They
yeah,
don't
they
want to
was
keep
on
doing that.
time possession was ridiculous.
Um, and especially when you're losing to Aaron Rodgers when he's throwing to different receivers, that's the worst.
And he got a little extra juice and motivation against y'all.
You know. But I wish the Jets won. But a 2-point loss to the Steelers, especially how that defense is realistically, I think that's perfect for them. I think the Jets can easily go to the playoffs if they played how they played yesterday.
And not to mention, I will mention this. Aaron looked good yesterday, man. He didn't look like the. He looked like an older Aaron Rodgers, but he still looked really, really good. 4 touchdowns, no picks, really great QBR and efficiency. He looked solid, man. I think him and BK being on the same accord really helped. Calvin Austin looked really good in this offense with him. And the funniest thing to see was DK sticking up for Jalen Ramsey. I never thought I'd see the day. But yeah, the Jets look really good. The Steelers look really good and promising, man. And I'm just happy if this could continue for Justin. I'll be really, really happy because I just want him to get a fair shake, kind of like Trey Lance, because Trey Lance has never really got a fair shake at a full season at quarterback. And so team organization just really buying in on him and his skill sets. And Garrett Wilson might have a legit quarterback to get him the ball for once. So that's my overall take on those games. Now we're gonna move right along to the next game. Next big game we had is, let me scroll to it. I guess we can jump right into the Sunday night game. Ravens and Bills. Ravens blow another huge lead and they lose by one to a game-winning field goal to the Buffalo Bills. Final score 41-40. Josh Allen, 33 for 46. No interceptions, 394 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground with 30 yards total. Lamar Jackson played damn near perfect. 14 and 19, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 on the ground for 70 yards rushing. Derrick Henry was a monster. You had 18 carries for a buck 69, 2 touchdowns, but he had the costly and untimely fumble. Zay Flowers was balling, 7 for a buck 43 with a touchdown. And then Keon Coleman might have his breakout year and prove why I was so high on him going to New England last year. He had 8 catches for a buck 12 and a touchdown. And the Bills survived a thriller. This felt like playoff football. What was your thoughts on the game?
Nah, this game was amazing. Um and I low key felt it because in the first half, the Ravens outplayed the Bills like nothing. The Bills just had their opening drive. That was it. They didn't do anything that whole first of the half. Um and to me it just felt too good to be true. Um then the comeback happens. It's something we see every year. And we sometimes see it multiple times a year. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense does as much as they can. They literally do everything they can. Yes, they'll make one mistake. Maybe it's a Lamar pick, maybe it's a Derrick Henry fumble like last night. But I just don't understand how the defense
Overrated.
can just sit here. But it's every year. It's every year. The defense just lets these teams score. It's like the defense gets too comfortable when they see Lamar trying to put the game away. But it just doesn't make sense. And I think the only thing that makes sense right now is if this keeps happening, Harbaugh has to go.
He's given up 17 double-digit leads since he's been in tenure at the Ravens. Most by
Exactly.
any quarterback. I mean, coach.
Because how do you have a running back almost rush for 200 yards, a receiver almost catch for 200 yards, and you blow a lead on top of that? Nah. If this was
And
the
you
NBA, he would have been fired yesterday.
and you have one of the best quarterback in the league, probably, arguably for most people. The most talented player in the league. 4th and 3, you don't go for it.
Exactly.
Now I get it. If you don't get it, they're in field goal range already, but you still have 3 timeouts at that point. I think you would have had time to get the ball back opposed to you having to sit there and watch the offense go get a game winning drive. So that was my issue with Harbaugh. Of course, Henry gets some of this blame because you cannot fumble the ball the way he did at that timely manner. Had this happened in the first or second quarter, probably could live with it. But at that time of the game and to let the points, can't have that happen. But I want to give credit to the Buffalo Bills because they kept fighting, they kept staying close, and they made the plays that the Ravens couldn't make. Josh Allen looked phenomenal. Lamar did look good, but the Ravens are being like the Ravens, man. This is why people don't believe in the Ravens. Because when it matters most, they do not succeed. And it sucks because the narrative around Lamar is never going to change until they win. And until that happens, it's going to be the same. The defense, Jair, we're going to call it spade. Jair was getting cooked out there. He was getting chopped up, packed up, whatever you want to say. Like it was bad. But Ty, I'm gonna let you take it away. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, I already told you about Jair. That's why I was like, yo, I don't think the Packers are really, losing anything pretty much. Um, but I don't know. The Baltimore has to do better. Um, and I don't know. After yesterday, it's hard to really keep picking them as my favorite to come out of the AFC. Because right now, um, if we really think it's the Chiefs' downfall, I would say probably Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl. But I don't know. It's only week one, but you need that win, honestly.
Yeah, so we're gonna move right into the AP. Sorry, I had a phone call.
All right. We got the AP, Ohio State number one, no brainer. Penn State, LSU, Oregon, Miami, Georgia.
All right, my bad. I was not expecting that phone call. Yeah. So here's the top 25 AP polls, and one of the most glaring ones I'm seeing. I'm gonna zoom in on this so everyone can see. When you're not working, you working. Getting phone calls about work. All right. Here we are. My biggest surprise is Florida State at 10. I'm not really surprised given how the season started, but I don't think anyone expected them to be a top 10 team in the nation this soon, at least. But like you said, Ty, we got Ohio State at 1, Penn State at 2, LSU 3, Oregon at 4, which I don't think people's talking enough about Oregon. Miami's at 5, Georgia's 6, Texas at 7, and you got Notre Dame at 8, Illinois at 9, and Florida State at 10. South Carolina is slowly creeping up. What's your thoughts on Clemson being at 12 over Oklahoma? Oklahoma beating Michigan this past weekend.
No, Clemson should have dropped a little more down.
Yeah, I, I don't care if they beat Troy. It's the fact that you
Yeah,
was even down.
yeah. The fact that you almost technically lost the game.
Oh, we got these ads popping up. There we go. But moving down, we got Iowa State at 14, Tennessee at 15, Texas A&M 16, Ole Miss at 17, and we see South Florida is now ranked and rightfully deserving at 18, Alabama all the way to 19, Utah at 20, Texas Tech at 21, Indiana 22, Michigan falls to 23, which is kind of I'm surprised to be
Yeah,
honest.
I don't. This is what I don't get. Clemson. They could acknowledge Clemson, squeak, pretty much squeaking past Troy,
Mm-hmm.
and has them drop by 4. But Michigan loses to a good team, Oklahoma,
And they dropped
drops 8.
11 spot. Oh, 8 spots. Yeah, I was over here trying to think about it off the top of my head. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I don't agree with that. And I see Auburn's now ranked as well as Missouri. Shout out to those guys. But and then again, we have let me scroll up. Because to your point, Oklahoma moved up how many spots?
Only 5.
5.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would have been more cool if you had Michigan drop 5 and Oklahoma move 5 to keep it consistent. Even though it was a pretty fashionable win, but dominant win. But yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. Right now, who do you think is the clear cut best team in the country going into week 3?
Uh,
I personally think it's Penn
if
State.
it's to me, it's between Ohio State and Penn State. But I just think I don't know. I just think what Ohio State was able to do against Texas, although yeah, of course it's week 1. Um, I just feel like that's playoff football right there. So I feel like they can easily shut down an offense that you think is amazing. So I think that's what really gives Ohio State the edge. Um, but still too early to tell. We've seen teams fall off the face of the earth
Hmm.
after the first 2 weeks. So
Absolutely. And the schedules are looking weak. Like Ohio State had Grambling. Like somebody, I wish they would do more national team rankings consistently in the early stages and throughout the season. But I know they got to balance it out, give teams that's not ranked some love and opportunity. So I'm not mad at it. But like when I see Ohio State about to play Grambling, and not this ain't disrespecting Grambling, but I'm not gonna watch that game because I already know what the outcome's gonna be more times than not. But yeah, that's my biggest gripe with the whole situation. I will say, do not sleep on Notre Dame. I think they're a team that's gonna slowly creep back up into that top 5 spot. I know they lost last week, but it was a very close game, tough loss. I think they're gonna be just fine. Same thing with Texas A&M. Texas A&M have a big game this week. I forgot who they're playing. It isn't a ranked opponent though, so they can easily move up this list too. But I want to see if South Florida can keep this up and see how high they can go. So that's my biggest interest with this college football top 25 so far. Is there any teams that you think should have been ranked that's not ranked yet?
um nah. I mean right now, because like right now you got USF in there, which I think as long as they made it, that's all I cared about. Pretty much because they deserve that. Um, yeah, but it's just the first 2 weeks, you know. You're not gonna see a Michigan or Alabama drop out of the top 25. You know, Yeah, there's probably teams out there that had better 2 weeks than those two teams, but it's the first 2 weeks. I feel like by like week 5, you start seeing like obvious choices just not being ranked. But the first 2 weeks is the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have anyone right now. I think UFC will be ranked at some point. To your point, throughout the season as it wanes, but right now I think this is solid. Just got to move a few teams around. Um, so that's it for the AP polls. Really quickly before we wrap up the show, I'm gonna touch right back on the NFL. Really quickly, I'm gonna let you get your moment. We're gonna touch base real quickly before we talk about the Monday night game on your Rams and Texans matchup. The Rams win the game 14-9. It was an ugly game, but Matthew Stafford made some history. He has hit the 60,000 passing yard milestone. What are your thoughts on the game? Hopefully, Puka's gonna be good. And yeah, before I get take away on Houston.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I guess it was an ugly game. Um, it was just very low scoring. It was a lot of just time. It's classic football. This is like
Mm-hmm.
'80s football. Um, I think the biggest takeaways for me was, yeah, I wasn't mad or upset that the Rams only put up 14 points, given that, like you said, a lot of these players don't practice.
At all.
And I saw that as clear as day with Devontae Adams and Matthew Stafford. Although Matthew Stafford was dealing with the back injury, I understand. But you can obviously see that they don't have that connection yet. However, I do think it gets scary for other teams when they have that connection set. Um, because he already solidified Puka Nakua, him and Puka Nakua's connection. There is no breaking it up. If Matthew Stafford had Puka Nakua 10 years ago, he
Oh
would be
man.
he would have like 4 Super Bowls. It this is it's the most craziest thing. Um, but I do think that game told us more about the Texans than it did the Rams yesterday. Because although I did have CJ Stroud on my fantasy team, in my other league, Texans, man, I don't know.
CJ Stroud, man, that O line. I try to tell people that O line's going to be bad. I don't know what they're doing to CJ over there, man, but they're not helping his case at all. I didn't get just to catch this game. This was one of the other games I didn't get to catch. But what I will say is when you mentioned fantasy, the matchup of the week was myself and your boy Gerson, and thank God no one else had to play me because it was BTA. For those watching, let's just say I had Derrick Henry, Bijan, and Josh Allen. So I held up pretty comfortably. But my paid league I just recently did, the owner who will remain nameless decided to do a 16-person league. I'm just like, bro, this is too much. Can I keep it 12 to 14? But 16-person league, no kickers,
What?
which is nuts. It's nuts. I had the fourth pick, which may seem good, but it's not in the 16-person league and it's snake draft.
Yeah, you're not picking for like 30
I had
more
it was times I
30
was
more
weighing
picks.
26 picks after I was just like, yo, by the time I want to get somebody, he's gone. The team ended up getting my first pick. I wanted Bijan again, but my coworker took Bijan number one pick. So I ended up taking Saquon because running in a deep league like that, you gotta get the running backs early. So I took Bijan, Saquon. I have Garrett Wilson. I got Joe Burrow. I have Travis Etienne Jr. I have Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman Jr., I got Ibuka from Tampa, and I got Minnesota's defense, which I wanted Denver's, but someone took it. My bench, I got Loveland from Chicago, the tight end. Wandell Robinson. I have Dylan Sampson, and I got Jared Goff. He only did 4 bench spots. That's my team. And when it gets $200. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. My team is my team. I can't really say much else about it. I just hope the players I'm banking on that break out. So we'll see. But last but not least, enough of my personal fantasy stuff. Final predictions for tonight's game. We have the Vikings at Chicago in a divisional matchup. JJ McCarthy makes his debut. Ben Johnson makes his head coaching debut, as well as year 2 for Caleb Williams. Right now, they have Chicago minus 1.5 as the spread. Who you got?
I got the Bears. Caleb Williams, 260 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Interesting. I have the Bears too. I think that crowd is going to get to JJ with some signal calls, and he might make a rookie mistake, which is expected. And I don't really know what to expect from him, so I'm gonna go with the Bears, but not because of Ben Johnson. I just believe they're going to be more prepared and excited. Let me not say prepared. I think they'll be able to squeak out a close game win with a game-winning field goal, and I'll probably go 24-21 final score, and that's going to be my final verdict for tonight's game. So we're going to leave it right there for today's episode. On this episode, we will be doing our predictions for week 2 in the NFL. But if you made this far, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the episode. Let us know who you think was the biggest winner this week, who you believe was the biggest loser, which team you think is going to get the number 1 pick, the Saints or the Dolphins. And more importantly, man, who you got as your sleeper team in the top 25 right now, going into week 3 for college football. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
48.